Well, welcome back to the hot seat. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Rebecca Ephgrave from Trident in Cyprus. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, thank you, David.
So great to have you on today. For PCD members who've not met you before, perhaps you could explain a little bit about yourself and your role at Trident.
Yeah, of course. So I've moved across to our Cyprus office. I'm previously worked in our Jersey and Guernsey offices, and yeah, so I've moved across to Cyprus, and in particular now with the trust and corporate services provider there. So in Trident Trust in Cyprus, we focus on providing fiduciary services to our clients, which span from providing trusts, corporate structuring, SPV, holdcos, that sort of thing, but also looking at maritime services, fund services, and we're also, got different diverse sort of areas now that we're looking at, such as IP regime boxes, that sort of stuff. So the IP box is something we're seeing now that's, getting quite a lot of traction. So we do quite a broad range of products, if you like. And we provide the full services to them. So we provide the full director services from establishment and setup through to managing the entities going forwards, providing trustee services, all of the day-to-day administration, accounting services, bookkeeping, bank accounts, yeah, you name it. So we really offer the full package down in Cyprus. So I guess a bit about my background. As I said, I'm from Jersey, Guernsey. I have qualified in corporate governance, and that's my thing, if you like, would be a corporate governance specialist, as well as the usual ICSA qualifications. I've been in the industry now for over 10 years. And very much enjoying the new Cyprus challenge.
Great. I mean, having lived in the Channel Islands and now in Cyprus, what do you observe the differences are professionally as to the colleagues you're working with, the industry that you find? I mean, there's different things in the toolkit, as you mentioned. There's different things that you can offer, and also I think different geographical focus. You're in a different part of the world. You're closer to different markets. How do you see the difference there of doing the same professional job out of Cyprus versus Channel Islands?
Yeah, I think I would start actually in so much as I've been really relieved, because I thought, as you say, moving to a different country, it would be totally different from the services that we'd offer in Jersey, Guernsey. But actually, in reality, the services that we offer are broadly the same, but just with a few additions. So like I said, the maritime services is something that, it's very popular and is something that Trident in Cyprus do a lot of. But I think more I'd focus on the fact that, the people that I work with, my colleagues here in Cyprus, they're all very well qualified. I'd say the majority of Trident staff are qualified lawyers, accountants, corporate governance, company secretarial, or working towards a qualification. So in actual fact, the environment that I'm working in and my colleagues, I'm surrounded by like-minded people, which is really quite comforting. And I think that also offers clients now the security that they're going to receive, the levels of services that they would typically expect from other jurisdictions, they receive here in Cyprus. I think the general services that we offer are broadly the same, but there are the added benefits of being in Cyprus now. So, for example, we're part of the EU, which is a big bonus. But also being in Cyprus, we've also got a number of double taxation treaties. So I think we've got about 65 in total now, double taxation treaties, which means for the clients that can be a big bonus for setting up your business or structure here and utilizing that. But as you mentioned before as well, obviously Cyprus is well located. So for the Middle East, for Africa, also for Europe and the CIS territories. So I mean, we've had recently, we've had quite an inflow of work from places like Lebanon, Egypt, India, and other places in Europe as well, the UK, Of course, I mean, as far flung as New Zealand. So, I mean, we've really had quite an array of jurisdictions, I would say, that are inquiring about Cyprus now, which is really interesting, and it's good. And I think, actually, as I said, I was relieved coming here that actually, it's very similar to the Channel Islands, and I'm surprised that Cyprus isn't more well known because of the level of services it's got. Cyprus has got a robust regulatory system. The Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission, CSEC, they're very much a transparent, working towards being very much the same regulatory type requirements that we would expect from the Jersey, Guernsey and other similar jurisdictions, which again, I think helps clients give that comfort, that actually Cyprus should be somewhere that they are seriously considering for their structuring and requirements. I think, yeah.
The fund regime is quite an interesting angle as well, isn't it? I think for very sophisticated private clients. We ran a great session featuring some of your colleagues, Christina and Andreas, recently, where Christina was discussing the case of people using setting up funds in Cyprus and how it compared with other jurisdictions seemed to do so very favourably, and obviously versus the Channel Islands gives you that European access. Have you seen that application on the funds business, but into the private client sector, kind of building up interest in that field?
Yeah, definitely. So it's really interesting, as you say, because I think particularly with Cyprus for a fund jurisdiction, it's somewhere that's of quite a significant interest, perhaps for startup funds, which can appeal to family offices that are growing, and quite a large family office that want to sort of step into the funds area rather than just a typical holding corporate structure. And I think Cyprus is a good opportunity for that, because it's got all of the benefits of your usual jurisdictions, but it's got some slight advantages in the fact that, it's very much, you can have reduced costs, that sort of thing, from perhaps slightly more expensive jurisdictions. But I think it's definitely an area that private clients should start looking at for sure. And we have seen an uptick in that.
Okay, great. I mean, one of the trends that came out from the webinar also was the evolution of the industry going from providing structures kind of off the shelf through to having real substance behind local professional input on the management of structures, setting up more sophisticated family office structures. Do you see this as an area of potential growth to really have, for families to come set up perhaps family offices, use the professional infrastructure that's there to run their affairs?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this is a topic that I think is really relevant for today. And in so much as when you're looking at whether it's a family office or a corporate business that is wanting to set up a new operational structure, perhaps, when you're looking at substance, I mean, we're having clients come to us very, very regularly, I mean, almost on a weekly basis now, asking for substance. They're asking for it in so much as they want to be able to demonstrate that they have the substance in Cyprus, rather than, as you say, just having a shelf or a registered office type structure. And I think we're very well equipped to be able to facilitate that. So, for example, I had an inquiry last week whereby we're setting up for a corporate structure that we look after. We are setting up we've got the registered office and all the rest of it, but the registered office itself is going to be a specific office address. We have a specific designated office that's fully equipped with the desk, the chairs, its own internet. The company will have a dedicated telephone line that's manned. We can look at also putting employees within the company and setting up employee contracts for that company as well, again, for substance. We set up bespoke email addresses and domain names and things like that. So I think, yeah, there's a huge amount that's going to be done, I think, and is being done from the substance perspective. And it's something that we don't actually have to spend too much time pushing to clients, it would seem, at the moment. It's, clients are wanting that.
And I guess there it's a smaller number of higher value clients, isn't it, in terms of the way the world is shifting, the cost of doing business regulation and all of that, and then the level of service you can provide to people going up. So it's quite an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, I think, nowadays you can't just do the bare minimum. I think the rate of changes, both regulatory and obviously economically, and all of the other changes and challenges we're facing at the moment, you have to be quite robust and invest in your structuring, make sure your structuring is correct, is adequate, that your structure is robust to face today's challenges. And I think we can help with that by, as I said, we can offer the full suite of services to support a client for that. And I think that is the way forwards. You can't do things by half anymore.
Absolutely. So you previously covered and spent a lot of time in the Middle East, doing so from the Channel Islands, but now doing it from Cyprus. Obviously, when travel opens up again, you've got a direct flight there. It cuts at least by half the time, the flight out of London, let alone getting from Channel Islands to London. So how do you feel about when travel does normalise again, the opportunity there to be travelling into the Middle East, meeting clients and contacts to service them a bit more easily, I suppose?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, fingers crossed when things do open up. Really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be quite exciting to see how we can develop the services that we offer at the moment, and trying to sort of develop that more within the Middle East. I think at the moment we see quite a lot of work coming from Israel, but also, of course, we have our office in Dubai, so we'll be working very closely with our office there, and looking at the clients from Saudi and places like that, across the Middle East, I think, as well, and seeing how we can set up structures for them. Because, I mean, as we've already said, the ease of getting to here, getting to Cyprus from those jurisdictions, and the benefits that Cyprus can offer those family offices, individual clients, I think it's an exciting topic. Yeah, no, it's something that I can't wait for travel to open up.
Absolutely, here to that. I mean, you touched before on corporates looking at coming to the island. So, like in terms of relocation, I mean, people moving businesses and corporate HQ functions is quite an interesting area that's developing. I mean, how do you see that unfolding, and do you see certain regions looking at establishing a HQ, a corporate base, but within an entrepreneurial sort of owner managed setting?
Yeah, no, and that's it's definitely something we're seeing, particularly from the CIS territories. I mean, looking at Ukraine at the moment, we're seeing quite a lot come from there with regards to actually wanting to set up a business and have the business managed in Cyprus. Again, Israel, we're seeing inquiries coming from there as well for similar type structuring. And I mean, the businesses we're seeing inquiries is quite broad sweeping in so much as it's corporate, for your sort of wanting to have a finance type company. So we'd have the finance headquarters would be here in Cyprus, and that would then be manned by an employee. We would support the company by having the office, providing them with the office and the space and the equipment and all the rest of it, and obviously wrapping our arms around them to support them with their needs as they grow. But again, on the flip side of that, for business, we've seen, strangely enough, quite a few hotel startups as well. So they're being headquartered here, but purchasing hotels abroad. So the UK, for example, we've seen boutique hotels being acquired by a couple of our clients. I guess at the moment, hotels are going for fairly good prices. So we've seen quite a lot of that, in so much as that would then be put into a structure which is then managed and controlled from Cyprus. And Cyprus is the controlling hub then for that.
Okay, thank you. And finally, we haven't mentioned the B word as yet, Brexit, but are you starting to see is there any opportunities coming out of the UK? Are you seeing people, now that we've kind of moved through the transition period, actually taking some action where they've got a need for something in Europe to access customers, or how are you seeing that playing out?
We have seen an uptick in inquiries since Brexit has sort of calmed down, if you like, in so much as clients, both private clients, family offices, and clients that are wanting to have sophisticated structures are actually looking at whether their structures should now either be completely within the EU or at least have part of the structure within the EU to gain the benefits that go with that. And I think we are seeing quite an increase in inquiries that are driven in that direction, purely because, of course, Cyprus is part of the EU. And we are seeing inquiries coming in for structures on that basis, which is good for us.
Okay, terrific. Well, look, thank you for talking to me today, Rebecca, and we look forward to sharing this with our members.